it is easy to get stuck in the practice. In hitting that stall, not being able to move, spinning the wheels, as they say, like a car that doesn't move. It's got caught in the mud, or doesn't get enough traction. While meditating, it's one of the most difficult situations to get out of, because it comes and goes. For many people, it might even take years to realize that they're stuck, if they do realize. So this is one of the major hurdles that people have to overcome. Of course, this doesn't mean to say that this is something that happens only for meditators. Of course, in every area of endeavor, where someone is trying to do their very best to overcome the status quo, that state of being stuck, whether in the areas of artistic endeavors, professional arenas, relationships. It is easy to do the same thing and expect that wonderful thing that happened at one point in the past, that lovely experience that got you interested in the first place. And that memory might be sufficient for some to carry on doing the same old, as the saying goes, with the anticipation of making a breakthrough one day. For this, the Buddha used the important principle of chanda. Chanda, oftentimes translated as, I like to translate it as fervent interest, but when you look at it, or some people call it desire, when you look at it carefully, you see that it is, in essence, the motivation that we need to do anything, let alone to, in this spiritual practice, in this lifestyle, attaining to Nibbana, freedom from suffering. But we need motivation in every arena, as I was mentioning. However, when we get to that state of stuckness or status quo, it's easy to fool ourselves by saying things that really don't do anything to get us out of that. So we don't experience anything new, in essence. We don't make any breakthroughs. For this reason, many people read books, this and that, to kind of be instigated, driven, inspired to do something. But unless they give themselves the potential for almost daily motivation, or having something that gives them that impetus, it will be very difficult. It will be a tough climb out of that ditch to gain that traction. So in this case, I wanted to just address the issue of what to do, because this keeps coming up. And the protocol, shall we say, offered by the Buddha on more than one occasion is the usage of one or more of the protective meditations. Typically, there are 4. Of course, there's a lot more than that, but usually these are the 4 that are used to pull yourself out of that ditch. What are they? Well, first of all, let's establish ourselves as to the usual practice that the individual is doing. Again, I'm now addressing it specifically towards practitioners of meditation. Nevertheless, this could easily be alternated, shall we say. The attention in this case is for meditators. However, you could be in the endeavor of, as I said, artistic field, some type of professional arena. So you focus back on the baseline, whatever it is that you are engaged in. And here the 4 meditations are things that bring up states of mind, even perceptions, that you can use in any field, in any arena. It does not have to be only in meditation. So having said that, let's focus back on the meditative practice. So you have established yourself or have a practice. Let's go with something simple, such as the breath, breathing, awareness of the breathing, in and out breathing. As you're noticing the breath coming in, and then it finishes, it ceases, and then the breathing out begins. And then it finishes, and then you have another breathing in, and then it finishes, and then another one starts, the exhale starts. Okay. So as you're able to observe this, we're just using that as an example, as a baseline of what a person's practice is. You will have hindrances show up. You will have states of mind that pop out of nowhere. Thoughts, ideas, including emotional states such as dislike. Doubt will pop. That's a tough one. Uncertainty, perplexity. People get bored or worry, start worrying. So when these and other similar states come in, they are inevitable on the journey of meditation. They will happen. So when these states come up, the first protective meditation is Buddhanussati, which is the contemplation, the bringing to mind of the qualities of the Buddha. Now, of course, this means that you are engaging one mental imagery with another. You're substituting, yes, but it is a transitional state. It is a meditation that you're bringing in for temporarily, therefore, to shake off the dirt of the hindrance that came out of nowhere. Because you will wear that worry, you will inhabit that uncertainty, you will become really distraught by the dislike, the restlessness, etc. Your heart will start racing, and that's not what you want during meditation. So you want to regain back or experience, for the first time even, upekkha, which is equanimity. So to re-establish that, to find your bearings, as they say, you practice Buddhanussati. This is the first of the protective meditations. And what does that entail? It could be as simple as just repeating Buddho, Buddho in your mind with the breath. You don't have to go on a visualization adventure with this. Buddho is a term that the Buddha used to describe the qualities of the Tathagata, of the Buddha. In the regular chants that we have, enumerating the qualities of the Buddha, we have Itipiso Bhagava Arahan Samma Sambuddho Vijjacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisadam Masarati Sattha Deva Manusanam Buddho Bhagavati. So twice you have Buddho being anchored in the mind, just within those. Of course, Arahant is another quality that was mentioned there. So you could use that. That's okay. So this reestablishes, this anchors you. But you're not going to have just one set of hindrances. Chances are you will meet others. Ever so often, they will come up out of nowhere. For that to happen, such as in states of you have anger show up, or hatred, or aversion. You want to jump out of your seat and go and change the world because there's so much injustice taking place. Evil people running the whole place, the whole world. Okay, what does that do to you, to your meditation? Well, you want to change things. You want to rebel. Well, you can't have rebellion without some element of animosity or hatred within. Some anger, some dosa. Dosa is that, earlier I was saying about dislike, but this is really hotter in its quality. So the strong sense of anger. Also fear. Fear is another face, the other face of hatred. There's fear, which also has within it panic. So when these types of hindrances, obstacles show up, then the Buddha has given us the second protective meditation, and that is Metta Bhavana. Metta Bhavana, which is cultivation of loving kindness meditation, ameliorates that. It's like a soothing balm that you apply, an ointment you apply on a wound, on a burning, itching, terribly uncomfortable sensation on your body. And you apply that ointment and all of a sudden it soothes you. Including radiating that loving kindness, which you first, by the way, start by engulfing, by bringing it about, by allowing it to grow within your heart and then spread throughout your body, all the way to your pinky, all the way to the edges of your earlobes, on your skin, the back, to your toes, to the edges of your limbs. And then, once it completely encapsulates your whole physical body, then you just blast away to every nook and cranny in the universe. Especially those individuals, those things and situations, it doesn't have to be people, for example, that are causing you dislike, painful hatred, anger. And you drape them with that metta. You penetrate them like laser. And you go everywhere. You spread it in all directions, the metta. It's very soothing, it's very comforting, it's very relaxing, and it brings you back to a sense of equanimity. So you don't have to dwell there unless you still sense that there is aversion in you. Okay? But once it's done and there's equanimity, you can just slide back to your original baseline meditation, which in this case we're using the example of breath meditation, right? So the same goes obviously with the Buddhanusati, which we just went over, the first protective meditation. So these are transitory or transitional meditation techniques that you're using to fend off those hindrances, what we call nivarana. The third meditation, protective meditation, is the asubha bhavana. Asubha means the one that brings up meditation that brings up a sense of not just dislike, but being repulsed by certain things. And this is in the case of you experiencing a pull, a very strong pull, attractive pull, lust that can come up in meditation towards things, we can start with something as benign seeming as ideas, concepts, dreams, aspirations, to much grosser things like an attractive person from your past, or situations where you start pondering the what ifs. What if this happened? What if that? Oh, that person, this and that. And then a pull, a very strong sensorial, usually pleasurable atmosphere around it. So it can easily overtake your mind. Many people have left the meditation cushion, have left in entire meditative life, the holy life, and ran out of monasteries because they had seen somebody of the opposite sex that brought up certain feelings of lust, passions. So it's very pervasive. It proliferates extremely fast, rapidly, spreading everywhere, and you can't concentrate. So that means you're no longer able to practice your normal meditation, right? And that's why you have to practice asubha bhavana. Asubha means the opposite of pleasurable, basically, seeing you're not creating images necessarily. You are looking at the other facet, the other side of the coin. You're no longer lying to yourself. So you're intently you're trying to be fair to reality, because when you're in a lustful state, you're not being fair to reality. You're making up stuff. You're hyper-focused on one aspect of reality, which is very transitory. Oh, the look, oh, this person's look, oh, the way they look at that body, or oh, this, that, or the eyes, or this, or that, or the voice. Completely ignoring the fact that this person has to wash up, has to go to the bathroom. But you don't allow your lust to penetrate in those areas of that person's life. No, they're too, not appealing to ponder. You only look at them when it's all nicely done, manicured, this, that, whatever that, means for you. So you're not being fair to reality. Asubha means you're looking directly, squarely at the other aspect, such as the ugly, the thing that is disgusting, but no one wants to talk about, such as the body that you think is attractive is made up of sinews, of ligaments. It has sweat glands. If it doesn't wash, it's going to stink. If it doesn't do this, if it doesn't comb the hair, they don't go to the bathroom, and then you penetrate inside the body, and you see it's all skeleton. What if you spread it out? And for this reason, the bhikkhus, the monks, would, not all those who are able to handle it, those of a softer nature, shall we say, were not advised by the Buddha to go and practice in the cremation grounds, in the cemeteries. But those who were able to, they were encouraged to shake off that delusion they have, that this is beautiful, this is beautiful. And then they would see how transitory everything is. So by simply looking at death happen in front of their eyes, when the cremation happens of a person's body, and then they would look, and they would see the flowers on the funeral pyre, and the wood burns, and then they would see the shroud, the cloth, burn away, and then they see silhouette, the outline of a body, male or female, and then they would see even that flesh burn away, and then they would start see, to their horror, the rib cage. They would see the nose melt away, the eyes, smoke coming out. And then they would see, if they are still looking carefully, they haven't run away, they will see a skeleton form in front of their eyes. And after some time, if granted there's more fire burning, there's more wood, that is, to burn away the body, they would see even the bones fall along with the wood, logs of wood that are burning away. The body burns away. That shakes, that shocks the system. A system that is lustful, a system that is passionate, a system that is looking for sensuality. Sensuality has no place there. It is destroyed immediately. So when you're practicing that, and it doesn't have to be a cremation ground, okay? Let me say that as well. It could be simply looking at an aspect of the body. If this is the body, I'm just using that as an example. It could be an attribute, a quality of the body. Just like I said, imagine the person not having washed or doing something that you think is disgusting, that they normally do. Already that pulls you, shocks you out of that state of desiring. So, and once you've done that, you fall back into your practice. You come back to your practice of, such as vipassana, which is what we were doing in that example of watching the breath come and go, looking at the physicality, the mentality, the mind watching mind objects carefully, because now you have just dealt with the hindrance that was an obstacle for you, not allowing you to see that, because these things will happen. You will face hindrances, as the question is, trying to address. What to do when these things come up? I'm giving it to you. And then you have the fourth protection. When you're, again, bored, when you've lost your momentum, which was what I was talking about earlier, about chanda being gone. You don't have that drive. The momentum is missing. You can't keep mustering up the energy, the ability for you to re-engage with the same intensity, especially when you're sitting. So it's so easy for you to fall back into the status quo, into the patterns of your mind, of even the patterns that you've established yourself, those grooves, those ditches that you slide into, and you stay there, stuck, and continue on spinning your wheels as a car. So for that, you have the fourth protective meditation, which is a powerful one as well, and that is the Maranasati, the contemplation on death. Now earlier, the third one I was giving you was, in a sense, was also contemplation of death, right? Because cremation ground, this and that. This could be also using that or that type of imagery. But in this case, you can also contemplate your own death. For those who are able to practice dissecting their own bodies visually, mentally, with imagination, that is, okay, not literally. Where you imagine all your skeleton, the bones are laid out in front of you. You look at certain body parts of yours, you know they're yours. You see it in the pictures, you know it's yours. Imagine that is there in front of you, separated from you, severed from you. Or something less gruesome would be images of individuals that you cared for, were part of your life, that are no longer there. They've died. Or they're still alive, but you are contemplating their impending death. You are, again, not trying to create a gloomy state of affairs. This is not trying to make us depressed, okay? That's not the objective. The objective here is to pull you out from a state of mind that is deluded, because the hindrances are attacking you. Again, hindrances of uncertainty, they come in to pull you away from your practice. That's why you're using these protections. So all these mental states that come invading your space, these are answers to those. Okay? So you're not doing this simply to create some macabre state of affairs, some dark state for you to be. No. It's the opposite. We're trying to wake up with the light of wisdom, which is brilliant. It penetrates through delusion. That's what you're doing. But the reality, so-called reality in which we live, is so made up, is so not what it really tells us it is, what it seems to be. It's not. So for that, meditation, and in this case specific meditations, can address those mental hindrances to a point where we become freed and regain back a state of equanimity, which is crucial to attain liberation, to attain nibbana, to attain freedom from suffering. So we apply these four as necessary. They are medicine. They are given by the Buddha to address the illness. In this case, the illness I'm using as a metaphor for the hindrances that show up, dark mental states that come and try to shake you from your practice. But once you've reestablished yourself, you've regained a sense of equanimity, slide back, apply back your usual meditation practice. And there's no like a number that, this is how many times, how many minutes you need to practice these. Some people might like a particular one out of these four and stick with it. That's fine. But make sure it's vipassana that's running the show for you. You're trying to look at the fact that it's all about mind objects that are taking place, and it's just the mind observing that process. Nothing more, nothing special going on. It's just mind objects arising and ceasing, arising and ceasing. and the mind that sees that. It's an uncontrollable thing. They started because of certain tendencies, of drives and actions we've committed in the past. So initiative has been taken in the past for you to do certain actions, and that has created the snowball effect, and now it's showing up. It's like, waking up with foot ache, okay? Your foot hurts or something like that. Well, if you didn't have a body, you wouldn't have a foot to be hurting. So it's a process, all linked up. Similarly with these states that show up out of nowhere, the ideas, this and that, states of mind. Your job is not to go into hand-to-hand combat or engage one imagery with another constantly. The point is to just touch it with one of these protective meditations, and then it will completely dilute itself. It will completely disintegrate. When you, for example, practice Asubha Bhavana on the repulsive, repugnant, deplorable aspect of what you think is pleasurable or lust increasing, suddenly it dissolves. It's like turning on the light in a dark room, the switch. Boom, where's the darkness? It's gone. You don't have to go looking for the darkness. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't follow that intellectual curiosity to engage, because now you're still creating agitation. Earlier it was agitation caused by lust. Now it's agitation because you're intellectually curious. That's still going to keep you in the darkness of suffering. Nothing special about that. What we're looking for is the equanimous state that allows you to slide back into seeing and attaining states of higher and higher and higher, or deeper and deeper and deeper states of awareness and understanding, where you look and see patterns of behavior. And all of a sudden they turn into like windows of understanding, snippets of wisdom. And then those old ways cannot hold a candle. They cannot even withstand the brilliance of wisdom. They will fall away the moment they arise. So these 4 meditations, protective meditations, are when they come in and you can't fight them. That doesn't work for you. You can't reestablish equanimity quickly enough, or they've overwhelmed you. It's like an army that comes in and the castle is under siege, or is being attacked on all fronts, from all sides. So you're overrun by the sensations of, let's say, worry, fear, agitation, panic. All these are negative states for which we're using these protective meditations. So, may your meditation develops. Skilled.